Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are jumping right into a nutrient that, honestly, most of us probably think we've got figured out: vitamin E. We're going to look at what it actually does, where you can find it, and then unpack the really surprising story of what happened when science put those superdoses to the ultimate test.
So let's kick things off with a pretty cool idea. Just imagine for a second that every single one of your trillions of cells has its own personal bodyguard, on call 24/7. Well, in a nutshell, that is the most important job of vitamin E.
All right, let's get into that mission. What is this bodyguard protecting ourselves from? Well, vitamin E is famous for one thing above all else. It's one of the most powerful antioxidant protectors our bodies have.
Now, to really get why we need a bodyguard, you first have to understand the threat. See, our bodies naturally produce these unstable molecules called free radicals just through normal things like metabolism. And we also get exposed to them from the outside world, from pollution, UV rays, you name it. When you get too many of them, they cause this thing called oxidative stress. You can seriously think of it as biological rust on your cells.
And this is where our hero vitamin E makes its move. It's what's called a fat-soluble antioxidant. That just means it can dissolve in fat, which is amazing because our cell membranes are made of fat, so it can literally embed itself right into the cell wall, standing guard. And from that spot, it neutralizes those nasty free radicals before they can do any harm. It's the bodyguard literally taking the bullets so the cell stays safe.
So, where do we hire this incredible bodyguard? Well, the best place, by far, is from our food. It's our body's own natural arsenal.
And here's the number you want to aim for: 15 milligrams. That's the official recommended dietary allowance. It's the amount that health experts say most of us need every day to keep our cellular bodyguards on the job and fully effective.
And what's so great is how easy it can be to hit that number. I mean, just look at this. A single ounce of sunflower seeds, that's just a small handful, gets you almost half of what you need for the entire day. A handful of almonds does pretty much the same. This isn't some exotic, hard-to-find nutrient. It's right there in snacks a lot of us already love.
And in some foods, the concentration is just wow. Take wheat germ oil. A single tablespoon gives you 135% of your daily value. It absolutely blows past the daily recommendation. And even really common cooking oils like sunflower oil pack a serious vitamin E punch. But it's not just about nuts and oils. A whole bunch of fruits and vegetables are part of the team too. Now, the amounts might be smaller per serving, but when you're eating things like avocados, spinach, and sweet peppers, it all adds up. It's about building that protection through a whole, balanced diet.
Okay, so with all this amazing evidence of vitamin E's protective power, a very simple and very powerful idea started to take over. People thought, hey, if a little bit from food is good for me, then a huge amount from a supplement must be incredible, right? And just like that, the era of the super supplement began.
This really became the central question driving everything. The hope was absolutely massive. Could we just flood our systems with this one antioxidant and build like an impenetrable fortress against things like heart disease and cancer? The public excitement was off the charts, and you can bet supplement sales went through the roof.
But, science has a funny way of testing even our most exciting beliefs. So researchers set up these huge, really long-term clinical trials to see if these high-dose supplements could actually deliver on that promise. And what they found? Well, it was a complete twist in the story nobody saw coming.
So, first up was heart disease. The hope was crystal clear: prevent heart attacks and strokes. But the reality, proven over and over in major studies, was just stark. The high-dose pills offered zero protection. And then, even worse, one big follow-up study actually found a small but statistically real increase in the risk for heart failure. Not good.
And unfortunately, it was a very similar story when it came to cancer. The theory made perfect sense, right? Protect yourselves from damage, you should prevent cancer. But again, when they put it to the test in these massive studies, the high-dose supplements showed no benefit at all in reducing the overall risk of cancer. The promise just wasn't holding up to the proof.
But then came the absolute bombshell. There was a huge trial called the SELECT trial, specifically designed to see if vitamin E could prevent prostate cancer. They actually had to stop the study early. Why? Because the data was showing that the men taking the 400 IU vitamin E supplements didn't have a lower risk, they had a 17% higher risk of developing prostate cancer. This wasn't just ineffective, it looked like it was actually harmful.
And the concerns didn't stop there. Further research showed that really high doses of vitamin E act as a blood thinner. Now, that might sound like a good thing, but it can actually interfere with your body's natural ability to form clots when you need them. And this was linked to an increased risk of a very dangerous kind of stroke called a hemorrhagic stroke. That's where you have bleeding inside the brain. This is exactly why there's a tolerable upper intake level set at 1,000 milligrams a day for adults.
So, after all of that, what's the big takeaway here? This whole story shows us that vitamin E was never the bad guy. Not at all. The problem was the idea of taking it in these huge, isolated doses from a pill. The real hero of this story is, and it seems always was, vitamin E found in its natural home, whole food.
So, what does this mean for you? What's the action plan? It's actually really simple. First, prioritize getting your nutrients from whole foods. Make that your #1 goal. Second, really embrace that natural arsenal we talked about. Make nuts, seeds, and leafy greens a regular part of your meals. And third, and this one is absolutely non-negotiable, never ever start taking high-dose supplements of any kind without talking to your doctor or a healthcare professional first.
In the end, the whole saga of vitamin E leaves us with a really important question, one that applies way beyond just this one vitamin. It forces us to ask, when it comes to nutrition, is more always better? Because as the science has made crystal clear in this case, sometimes it's not. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.